This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story is about 3 women that were attacked within a 4-hour period, and one of them was murdered. The fact that I'm sure you haven't heard about this story really does say a lot about the way the media will focus on a subject for a certain period of time, but as soon as it's out of the public consciousness, they then move on. And I don't feel that this should be overlooked, and it definitely has questions that need answering. Brian Sengendo, 27 years old, will spend 42 years of his life in jail after he's been sentenced at the Old Bailey on Friday the 18th of March. Sengendo was previously found guilty of carrying out a 4-hour campaign of sexual assault and violence that culminated in the murder of 44-year-old Therasia Gordon. And they described her as a sex worker from Edmonton, and she was murdered on the 4th of August 2020. And sadly, that is still something that the media will always focus on, is the fact that somebody did something that they feel is justifiable as to why they were murdered. The media will assume that they put themselves in that danger, so in some way that at least comforts the average person to know that if you're not a sex worker, you can avoid that danger. But this is not the case, as we've seen with Sarah Everard and also Sabina Nessa. Women with no connection to men will be taken off the street by sexual deviants. And I genuinely believe there was a real issue that has definitely seen an explosion during lockdown where a lot of these cases occurred. I'm not sure if it's down to the fact that there was not a lot of people around and these predators felt more comfortable to be able to get away with their crimes. Earlier in the same evening that he murdered Therasia, he kidnapped 2 other sex workers, and one of them he raped and stabbed 7 times. And both of the other victims jumped out of his moving van to escape him. The judge in the case said that Sengendo was a proven liar and a manipulator, and he was motivated by sexual desire of the most perverted kind. He also commented on the outstanding teamwork of the police officers involved in the case and the highly skilled investigation that showed professionalism and hard work above and beyond duty. In a statement, Detective Chief Inspector Neil John said, "There is no doubt that Sengendo was an extremely dangerous man, and he will now spend most of his life behind bars. We are pleased with the sentence that has been handed down, and Theresia's family can take a small comfort knowing that he will spend the majority of his life in prison." This was a very complex investigation, and it is likely that Sengendo would have committed further crimes if he hadn't have been stopped by the police. They used their resources and technology in order to try to identify him, track him down and gather the key evidence that left the jury with no doubt that he was responsible for Theresia's murder. Early on in the investigation, the police were provided with a partial number plate from a witness who had seen a man hitting a woman and someone was thrown at the door of a van. PC Howe and his team used automatic number plate recognition to identify that a white van matching that description was seen in the area earlier on. Further investigation revealed that the van had been reported as abandoned in Gilbert Street in the Enfield area 7 weeks earlier. Police travelled to that area and they located doorbell footage that showed on the 15th of July a slim young black male was getting into the van and drove it away. The police then tried to circulate an image they'd got through police systems in order to identify him. The officers tracked Sengendo's van going through Enfield and realised that he was seen on CCTV at 1:23 a.m. on Tuesday the 4th of August, but it didn't reach the next camera, which was 500 metres away, until 20 to 2 the same night. This led the police to wonder what he had done in the 30-minute period that his van was effectively missing from view. The police went to the location where his van would have disappeared and examined a large area and also found 2 cameras. One of the officers found a rural lane that was 250 metres long and it had a driveway that led to a gated house. The detectives approached this area and the occupant of the house came out and told the police that a month earlier they'd noticed that a phone was on a fence in the field nearby. They had left the phone there just in case the person returned to collect it, and when the police arrived the phone was still on the fence and they recovered it and downloaded all the information and it revealed that it was Sengendo's phone. Theresia's mother Jan said, "I am always thinking about her, and Therasia must have gone through a lot before she died. Listening to the evidence in court has been heartbreaking, and one of the things that keeps going on in my head is that the evidence from one of the witnesses who heard her moaning, and I can't get that thought out of my head. I can't understand why a man made my family live through this, and Theresa's murder day by day gets more difficult to cope. So at least the family do have a little bit of closure, but at the same time, for me, questions are definitely raised as to why there was such a outburst of violence in a short period of time. I've never seen so many cases in one city that involve violence against women in that time frame. So I really want to hear what people have to say on this story, and thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Rest in peace to Theresa, and I hope the other 2 women who were affected can get on with their lives and make the most of it. And don't forget to follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios, and send your stories to news@scarcitystudios.com. Peace.